continue our health news coverage this morning with menopause. And as any woman who has been through this can tell you, menopause isn't exactly pleasant. Talking about things like hot flashes, sleeping problems, and fatigue. But there are actually some foods that can help make this change of life easier. And we have Dr. Angela DeRosa here with this information. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Before we get to some of these food items, let's talk about a few of these misconceptions, because I think so often lots of people think that menopause hits women who are seniors, and that's not the case.
No, one of the reasons I do what I do and specialize in menopausal medicine is that I went through menopause at the age of 35.
That is so young.
Women can have it at any age. It's considered premature before the age of 40, but anytime after the age of 40, it can be natural for that particular woman, and it's genetically determined.
What are some of the symptoms? I mean, how do you know? I mean, there might be a couple of things, but how did you know for sure that you were going through this in your mid-30s? Certainly you had to second guess yourself.
Oh, absolutely. At that, everyone, even other professionals, were telling me you couldn't possibly be menopausal, but I was having hot flashes, night sweats, I wasn't sleeping, I was very irritable, felt stressed and anxious all the time, and even though I was in medical school and residency at that time, I knew it wasn't exactly just from that.
Sure, your peers who were also in their mid-30s were not going through
Absolutely.
this, at least most of them. All right, so that's where the food comes in.
Yes, because
and having gone through this, you know personally that eating the right foods and avoiding some, and we'll get to those as well, can really help.
Absolutely, because certainly if you're not going to replace with natural hormones and bioidentical hormones, or you can use it in combination with that, there are many foods that can certainly help. We start with the calcium and vitamin D class. Calcium and vitamin D is really important for bone loss, but also vitamin D helps prevent cancers, in particular breast cancer, colon cancer. Vitamin D is essential to prevent us from falling down, hence dealing with osteoporosis and fractures. But also, vitamin D can prevent like fibromyalgia-like symptoms.
Which we hear a lot of, it seems even more so these days. But you've also added to this list sardines.
Yes, sardines are definitely, for those of you who enjoy that palate, not my personal favorite.
Caesar salad or something. Almonds, clams, and then you've put broccoli into this group.
Broccoli can actually fall in two groups. Broccoli is loaded with calcium and vitamin D, but also it has excellent source of fiber, which helps with diet and weight sources.
Sure, and cleaning out that system, which is very important. Right?
Preventing constipation, yes, our dear friend.
So you've thrown apples in this mix. You've also thrown some legumes in the
mix. Yes, because certainly having foods high in fiber can help not only with maintaining weight, but also keeping the GI tract flowing and also decreasing inflammation in the body, which can also lead to cancers.
We know that water is very important. How much water? And let's talk about Arizona, because I know that we preach this all the time. Stay hydrated, stay hydrated, stay hydrated. But the amount of water has changed recently. How much water are we supposed to be drinking a day?
Typically, an average diet should have at least a gallon of water a day. So if you want to walk around with one of those jugs, that would be vitally important to kind of keep track of that. However, here in Arizona, when we have excessive heat and you're out doing a lot of activity, you may need to double that. But the caution is not to also have too much water without having enough solute, meaning sugars or different like electrolytes to help balance that.
Got a couple of other items here, including olive oil. We're going to put all of this on our website. But my last question for you is, you mentioned the foods to avoid.
Certainly high processed sugars, so the white sugars, a lot of starches, the breads, all those favorite things we like to eat, the carbs. We want to avoid
comfort foods.
Because those can also drain your sugar, cause spikes in cortisol, as well as insulin, which can lead to the weight gain right in the midsection, which we really hate to have.
Right, it's so true. All right, well, thanks for your time this morning.
It's a pleasure.
Helpful information always.
Thank you, Kelly.
You bet.